another question that surged is like knowing everything you guys know now, right? Guys have high expertise, bunch of experience. If you had to go back and coach yourself, what would you have done differently, or what have you coached on yourself differently at the beginning of your career?
I think I would have just started off and started with that simple approach of these are the things that I need to be good at. I need to be strong enough. I need to have a good throw. I need to be big enough. Essentially, my engine needs to be there to be able to do all these things. And so instead of going so hard into each of these things, I can actually just slow down a little bit and understand that there's a little bit more of the long game to it, and it doesn't have to be as aggressive. For me, obviously not lifting to lifting, I would just go in the weight room and trap our deadlift 4 days a week because I was like, I'm so behind on this. And then I was completely stiff. I could not touch my toes for my entire life. And so then I went crazy on the opposite direction, which was I'm going to do javelin mobility every day of the week so that I can get the splits and I can get the back bridge and I can get in all these crazy positions. And you learn through doing that process that you need to be good at those things, but you don't have to be elite at all those things in order to throw hard. And so like was probably stronger back then. I was probably more mobile back then, but the understanding of keeping it simple for myself would have been a lot better in the long run. Less injuries, less just fatigue through training economy. That was one of the biggest things that was an issue for me is I did so much while I was a player, even during the season, that by the time it was game time and I needed to go throw, my body is so fatigued that I'm just not even able to move as fast. And so when I look at my mechanics from in-game to the velo off, it was like I'm just moving way slower because I'm just tired all the time. So that was a big thing for me. It was just I would go back and say, hey, you need to be good at all these things, but you don't have to go so extreme with everything, and you can let it take its time a little bit more.
I would definitely have prioritized like upper body strength, I think, more than I did when I played. Not that I didn't. Like I had a good, S&C coach, especially throughout the off season. I would have continued that through the season a little bit more than I had when I played. I think that would be one thing definitely I can say. And then I think just kind of understanding my body a little bit more. Like I can move. I'm not elite mover guy. I think, I'm a little bit more of like on the slender type side, but I'm strong for my build. So I would just lean into my strengths a little bit more. Like I would lean into like, I'm just going to try and be really strong. I'm going to prepare for that in the off season, and I'm going to maintain that during the season so that I can be healthy, right? Because one of the reasons for dips and velo, like Trey kind of touched on, was it's like, well, I'm not on the IL, but do I feel great going to throw every day? Not all the time. And then, we're down 3 miles an hour, whatever it may be. I think that would have helped to sustain just feeling good for a longer, stretch throughout the season. So that would be one for me. And then two would just be kind of similar to one. I guess it would just be now that I, knowing what I know now, that's the main idea here. Understanding my body well enough to say, well, if I see this guy throw 100, I'm not going to try and do what he's doing to throw harder. I'm going to stick to what I know works for me. And whether that would be, a little bit more continuity from a coach. Like I mentioned, the coach that worked really well for me in short season ball, just kind of like continuing to, even though he wasn't my coach at every affiliate or whatever, but just like having more communication with him or working with him more or whatever the case. Maybe if I'm a little more in touch with him throughout my entire career, maybe I don't go too far the other direction, and he's able to kind of keep me within the guardrails of where I need to be. So I think just kind of like staying consistent when something's working and not, continuing to search for more and different. And I think the last thing is just like not searching every single, like throwing less essentially, right? Not searching every single day in catch play. Like I've got to have like 5 throws in a row that feel super crisp and pure, and I've got to get the curveball dialed every single day in catch. And just kind of like managing my workload a little bit better from a throwing standpoint too.
Yeah, for me, I think it goes with that as well, like keeping it simple, like Trey said, minimizing like the bluff in training. Like before, I'll be training for 4 or 5 hours. Now I train for an hour and a half, and I'm better than I was when I played because now I'm just actually attacking the things that matter, the big pillars, right? These are the things I have to work on, get these right, and then you're done. And then, like you said, from not having to be perfect every day. Like, you have to understand you're gonna have bad days. What to do when you have those bad days? Like, hey, if I feel like crap today, I'm not synced up. Maybe pivot and do some athletic catch play. Move around, move the feet, act like an infielder, throw from shuffles. Just find your rhythm again. Because if you're trying to find perfect positions every single day, even at lower intensities, you're not gonna get them. And then that's when you start tinkering with things you shouldn't be tinkering with, and you mess things up and you create bad habits instead of actually improving those. Because you're trying to be perfect every single day. So that's when you get a lot of guys that are robots, and you see them in catch play, just in the dome, just overthinking stuff. It's like, just be an athlete, just be free.